Hey everyone, thanks for watching and welcome to 4 Low Rocks. Today we're installing this MOPAR tailgate table on the back of our JLUR. This is going to add great versatility to the back of the tailgate while we're out on the trail, giving us a place to maybe make some lunch, to pull out some tools, maybe work on the Jeep, work on our camera setups, changing lenses, cleaning lenses, downloading video to a computer, or just having a nice little snack on the road. It's a relatively simple install, so let's get right to it. The MOPAR Tailgate Table comes with everything you see here on the table, including a detailed set of instructions, the frame that bolts onto the tailgate, all of the hardware needed to bolt it up, as well as the table itself, which will pivot down from the frame to form the table after it's installed. This is a pretty comprehensive kit. Shouldn't need anything else but a 1/2-inch drill bit and some assorted tools. Instructions for the kit tell you that it's very important to identify whether or not you have the trail rail system or not installed on the tailgate of your Jeep. There are two different procedures for installing the table based upon whether or not you have the trail ready kit or not. This Jeep does not, as indicated by the black panel right here. And the beginning of the install starts with pulling this panel off of the tailgate like we've done before with the antenna install. So it involves just slipping a trim tool underneath this panel and helping to pull it off, and it just comes unclipped, just about as easy as that. Now the instructions are very clear about where you need to drill through this panel. One of the drills will go through this existing hole, another one over here, and then on the bottom side of the panel there are a couple small dimples, at the bottom corner over here, and right along the bottom there's another dimple right in this trough right here. And that's where you'll drill your 1/2-inch holes. It's nice that the dimples are already there to outline where the holes need to be. Whenever I drill something, I like to back it with a piece of wood so that when the drill pops to the other side, I don't get any ugly burrs or things like that that will deface the front of this panel. And for the bottom portion, very similar, except you don't have those guiding holes, but you do have the little nipple to go through. And there you can see the holes that are drilled in the back plate that will mount the frame to the tailgate. And we'll go ahead and remount this back into the Jeep now. And the panel just slides right back onto the tailgate, just like it came off. Just pushing the clips into their final resting place. A few snaps and pops and picks, and it's back in place. It's important to note that the tailgate table does not bolt to the plastic. The reason the holes were drilled was to get into the mounting nuts, as a matter of fact, that are already mounted behind into the metal tailgate. Now here you can clearly see into the hole through the tailgate panel, where you can see the white tailgate metal. The painted metal is behind the hole, and that's where the screw will mount. But first we need to insert this metal bushing, aluminum bushing it is, into this hole and get it butted up against that metal. Seen some other people say that this can be rather tight, and it is. So we'll just take our time and work it in there. Now here you can clearly see that I've placed all of the aluminum bushings into their final locations. The instructions are very explicit about using the longer of the 4. There are 3 similar sizes and 1 longer one. The longer one goes in this bottom left side. The next step in the instructions is to begin to mount the frame to the rear door using the aluminum bushings that we've already put in there. A couple of these long bolts. We'll just get them started by hand at first, and since those nuts on the inside of the door are painted, you're going to run into a little bit of resistance. And these take a T30 fitting, and we'll go ahead and get those going. I'll just snug them down just a little bit as we still have to mount the bottom. The bottom part of the frame requires the same hardware, a couple of these long bolts, a lock washer, and we'll have to pull it a little bit to get it all to line up. And just give it a little bit of patience, work it in there and it'll go. Same with the painted bolts on the inside, it'll take a little bit of resistance to get through that. And then the other one is right here, a little bit off center or off of the edge, because that's where we installed that spacer before. Same thing, T30s, and we'll go ahead and get those going. This time we'll tighten them down pretty good. And that does it for the frame. The next step in the instructions has us hanging the table itself by its locking mechanism. We'll go ahead and fasten them down so that the bottom hole will align and we can easily install the nuts and bolts there just by hanging it from the frame. Now to attach the bottom assembly, we have a nut, a small bolt, and a nylon washer. The nut will go in from the outside. We'll put the nylon washer in the middle. It'll be a little tricky there, a little tight squeeze, but we'll get it in there. And then it goes through the tray table like that. And then the self-locking nut goes on the inside. Again, this is a T30 and we're going to have to find a way to make this fit. Again, we'll just snug this side up a little bit until we get the other side done. The other side's a little bit easier to work with. There's a little bit more room out here. It doesn't have the curve of the panel that's in the way. The nylon bushing will go to the inside. The bolt on the outside of the panel. We've got to sandwich that together and make it work. Okay. And then bring that through the bottom tray. And then the lock washer goes on as before on the inside. Our trusty 10mm wrench. And we'll go ahead and tighten it down. And the last step, we will unlatch the table. We'll fold it down in its stowed position. And we have these small little support cables here that just fit over that grommet and hold the table in place. To operate the table, all it takes is to fold it up to its stowed position, put the clips over the top, and latch it down. Next, to operate, to open it up, we're just going to lift the latches, pull the handles over the top, and lower it down to its lowered position. Very convenient, very versatile. It'll add a lot of functionality to the tailgate for us. I hope you liked our install video today. It was a pretty simple installation, I think you would all agree. But it adds a lot of functionality to the back of the Jeep. I'm really pleased with the way it came out. I like the fact that it stows up against the tailgate, only takes up maybe an inch to an inch and a half of where I previously had some cargo space, so it really doesn't take anything away. It looks like it belongs on the Jeep. It even has that 1941 Jeep symbol in the upper right hand corner there. If you like what you saw today, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. It sure helps me out a lot. And follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Last thing, I think I must apologize to you all for the dog, as our neighbor's dog has really been quite chatty today while I produced this video. But it's all part of life, right? Till next time, see you on the trail and happy wheeling.